in this video. I'm going to talk to you about money traps. 7 facts school failed to teach you about money. It's so diabolical to me how the miseducational, misdirectional system makes us memorize things that we will never use at the expense of not teaching. Those things that affect our everyday lives. And so, living in the most prosperous time that's ever existed on the face of the earth, in one of the most prosperous nations on the face of the earth, it doesn't make sense that most people struggle financially unless it's intentional, unless you've been set up to be set back for the rest of your life. And so I'm going to give you 7 facts school failed to teach you about money. The first one is this: money is not wealth. And it's so sad that the miseducational, misdirectional system, that the school system, the system of school was set up by people who did not have in mind the best interests of the students who would attend those schools, because a lot of the mogul, when you talk about Rockefeller and Carnegie and some of those like industrial age moguls who were super uber wealthy, believed, unfortunately, in a 0-0 sum game. In order for them to have a whole bunch of people have to have zero. A zero. God didn't set up the universe in a 0-sum game way. God set up the universe in an infinite abundance way. And when I say infinite abundance, what do I mean? The principle of infinite abundance is there's more than enough for everybody to have more than enough, and there'd still be more than enough left over. But if you believe in a limited abundance and you believe in the economic pie theory, in order for you to have more pie, I have to have less. In order for me to have more pie, you have to have less. Then you are either you're going to have a problem, or you're part of the problem. Because the economy doesn't work like a bakery, works like a garden. Difference between a bakery and a garden is this: in a bakery, consumption creates lack because there are only so many baked goods. But in a garden, consumption creates the potential for production. What does that mean? If I eat an apple out of an apple orchard, I'm going to expose 5 or 6 seeds. Those 5 or 6 seeds don't grow 5 or 6 more apples, 5 or 6 more trees, because God created an ever-expanding universe, and he created one wherein everything is energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just changes form. So the apple, I eat the apple, it's going to turn the apple into energy for my body. I plant the seeds in the ground, and it produces more trees. And those trees produce more apples. And this does not get like it doesn't happen so that there becomes less apples over time. It just so happens that there become more apples over time. Wow. But money is not wealth. So if you think money is wealth, then you're going to focus on the money and you're going to miss the wealth. Oh snap. I said that way too fast. And so before I even talk about when I said that, let me answer this question. If money isn't wealth, what is wealth? Is that a good question? Yes or yes? That's a great question. If money isn't wealth, what is wealth? Wealth is my ability to create a value for someone other than me. Wealth is your ability to create wealth. I mean, to create value for someone other than you. Wealth is the result of a massive value exchange. And if you can't figure out how to create value for someone other than you, you will never be wealthy. The money is just one of the results of the wealth. Am I talking too fast? The money is just one of the results of the wealth. And so what happens is when I create value for other people, one of the things I get for creating that value is I get money. But guess what else I get it? I get goodwill, I get appreciation, I get celebration, I get things that money can't buy as well as the money, so that I can get the things that money can't buy. So that sounds good and it sounds great. But here's one of the things I notice. Everybody will talk about value. Oh, you gotta create more value. Well, you just gotta create more value. But nobody explains where value comes from. So I'm gonna tell you where value comes from. So you have to create more value, wealth. Money is a store, it's a value, right? That's what money is. It's a store of value. It's a way to store and measure value. What value? It's a way to store and measure the amount of value you brought to someone other than you. When I go to a restaurant, the reason they feed me is it seems like they're feeding me because I have money, but the real reason they're feeding me is because I can prove that I've served somebody other than me. That's what the money does. It shows them that I've done something for somebody other than me. Now, why is that so important? Because all the money you desire to have and don't have right now, it's in somebody else's pocket, somebody else's bank account, somebody else's purse. It's in somebody else's account. So in order for them, you can either hit them in the head and take it from them, which I don't recommend, or you can provide them with something they value more than they value the money. It's so simple. It's simple, but it's hard. Where does value come from? I'm going to tell you why it's hard too. So in order for me to create value for someone other than me, I have to know where value comes from. And you all have heard me say it before, but I'm going to keep on saying it. You know why? Because our sinful flesh is not good at retaining truth for very long periods of time. Our remembrance has to be stirred up. So I'm going to keep on maintain it, and then eventually one of these days it's going to get locked and loaded, and you're going to be run like hop, skipping, and jumping down the street because it's locked and loaded. Okay? Where do values come from? Where does value come from? I can't uncover value for you. I can't create value for you until I know what's valuable to you, right? So I have to figure out what's valuable to you. In order for me to find out what's valuable to you, I have to do some discovery. And I can do some discovery by asking you questions, but it's going to have something to do with me having some kind of interaction with you. I'm going to have some kind of interaction with you to find out what you value. And when I find out what you value, when I give you what you value, you'll be happily give me some money. Or if you give me what I value, I'll happily give you some money. It's just how it works, okay? So here's where values come from. Past perceived voids create present pursued values. Past perceived voids, things that you feel like you've been missing out on your whole life, things that you've I wish I could have one of these, but I can't afford it, right? Things that you've been missing out on your whole life, things that you've wanted to do your whole life. Those are things that you value. Oh, that makes sense. Past perceived voids create present pursued values. It's why nostalgia exists. It's why people can create like throwback products and everybody wants to buy them, right? Because past perceived voids create present pursuit values, right? And it's so interesting. A friend of mine, his name is Todd. When Pontiac went out of business, they're done. They're no longer in business. You all know that, right? He started a business by going to Pontiac and buying the rights to the Trans Am. Now, why would you buy the rights to Trans Am? Because Chevy came out with the Camaro, and the Trans Am was the Pontiac version of the Camaro. And so he started buying a Camaro for $40,000 or $50,000. He would convert it into a Trans Am and then sell it for $150,000. Oh, this was 15 years ago, right? So what did he do? How could he sell? How could he buy a car for $40,000? Like put a different name on it. Put some Trans Am looking stuff on it. Whatever that is, right? And then he got the parts manufactured to make it look like a Trans Am, right? And then he sells it for like over $100,000 profit. How can he do that? Well, he can do that because he realized that past perceived voids create great present pursuit values. Does that make sense? So it's the same reason I bought my '68 Pontiac GTO convertible, right? Because I always wanted one and I couldn't get one when I was a kid. But when I saw one as an adult and I had the money, I paid way more for that car than it was worth brand new. Why? Because it's the car I wanted when I was a kid. And now when I'm driving, I'm like, this is what I wanted. I'm like, so funny. So, and I love the car. It's so cool to drive. It brings up so many nostalgic, good feelings, but it's the least comfortable vehicle I own. It doesn't have air conditioning. I live in Tampa, but it doesn't matter. It's a convertible. I put the roof down, right? And at least if you're sweating, the wind's blowing on the sweat, okay? Past perceived voids. Y'all get it? Okay? That's one past perceived voids create present perceived values. So if you can figure out a way to help people get something they've always wanted, they will pay you money. Present perceived virtues. Create present pursued values. What does that mean? Present perceived virtues. People will pay for things that they value in the present, that they think are good, that they think are virtuous in the present. It's so interesting how timing is so critical. So, I had been thinking for a while about finding a tailor who could make me some suits. Now, if there's one thing that irritates me, like irritate. When somebody calls me on the phone and I did not give them my phone number, why are you calling me? Now, you might not asking that. Why are you calling me? And where'd you get my phone number? Now, that may sound rude to you, but to me, it's rude to call me acting like I'm supposed to talk to you just because you found my phone number somewhere. No, we ain't doing that, okay? So, anyway, I get this phone call. Hey, my name's blah, blah, blah. And I was wondering I'm a tailor, and I'm wondering if you might be essentially custom clothes. Who are you? That's what I said. Where did you get my phone number? She told me where she got my phone number from. I'm like, I never heard of that person. Where'd they get my phone number from? Anyway, but it just so happened I was looking for some custom suits. So even though I was irritated, and I'm sure she could tell I was irritated by the fact that this person was calling me, but she was talking to me about something that was a present perceived virtue. I wanted some custom suits. And she came, showed me the suits. I bought a couple of them because I wanted to see if I liked them, and I did. Then I bought a bunch more. Why? Because present perceived virtues create present pursued values. We will pay for things that we value the present. Okay? So you get this. So if I can figure out how to either get somebody something they've always wanted or something they believe is really, really good and virtuous right now, they will pay me money. And the price doesn't matter. I mean, it matters some, but it doesn't matter most. Why? Because the virtue is greater than the price, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So the last one is future perceived visions create present pursued values. So I have this future pursued vision dancing with my granddaughter at her wedding. Well, she's 5. She'll be 6 this month. Her wedding ain't coming up anytime soon. However, like I'm 64. So if we'll call it 6. She's 6. I'm 64. Let's say she gets married when she's 26. That means I'll be 84. That means my body has to be in good working order when I'm 84. So when I saw this guy who was apparently a senior because he had white hair on his face too, but he had the body of a superhero. He said, well, yeah, I'm a health consultant. And I do health consulting for this person. Like, okay, whatever you're doing, I want that, right? I said, okay, so how much is it? $50,000 a year. All my supplement, does my blood work, makes a sub, he has a supplement, manufactures supplements. Went for my audit, sent me to 50,000, gave him my American Express card, 50,000. Why? Because future pursued visions create present pursued values. So if there's something I want to do in the future, I look at all of my workout equipment that I have. I look at my biohacking room and my cold plunge tank and my infrared sauna and my new fit newbie and my biocharger and my pulse electromagnetic field mats and all this stuff and my tonal and all the stuff that I have. Why do I have it? Because future perceived visions create present pursuit values. Spend money in the present to be able to achieve something in the future that I desire to achieve in the future that most people don't have or I otherwise couldn't have. Is what I'm saying making sense? Okay? So money is not wealth. That's the first lesson. What is wealth? Wealth is my ability to create value for someone other than me. And now I know how to create value for someone other than me. Now, I said earlier, it's hard. It's simple, but it's hard. Why did I say it's hard? It's hard because when I start creating value for someone, I make the mistake of thinking that value is the trinkets that I've created, or the training that I've created, or time with the trainer. That's me. And so I get confused, and I think that the deliverables are the thing that's important. But the thing that's important is the transformation. Are y'all tracking? And so if I'm talking to them about the deliverables, I missed the point. Y'all track? But if I talk to them about the transformation, I didn't miss the point. Okay? But here's the other reason. Here's the other reason it's hard. It's simple, but it's hard. When I realize I've got something that people are going to value. It's fairly simple for me to calculate how much money I'm going to make paid, how much money I'm going to make. And as soon as I start thinking about how much money I'm going to get paid, it changes me. It changes me into this uncomfortable person or this super aggressive person. It changes me into somebody who doesn't have the ability to uncover the value of the thing that I've created. That's so valuable because now I'm thinking about me instead of thinking about you. And that's why people struggle with uncovering value. And they have a hard time creating wealth. Even when I see this on Shark Tank, it blows my mind. People go on Shark Tank and they say, I really need this deal. That is not compelling. In fact, that's the opposite of compelling. Nobody wants to give you a deal because when you really need the deal. No, there's not one of those sharks up there because I wouldn't like if somebody said that. That would make it an automatic no for me. I really need this deal for my family. They start crying. Maybe you can cry. You can lay on a flow, throw a tantrum, but you needing this deal has nothing to do with my investment. Does that make sense? Okay? So that's the first one. Money is not wealth, okay? The first lesson they didn't teach us in school. Here's the next one. Y'all ready? Time is not money. Time is money. Time is money. Time is money. If you say time is money, you're either delusional, time is not money, or you are a liar. You either don't know it's not money and you think it is, and you're delusional, or you know it's not. Time's not money and you're just lying to people because you want to sound cool. Okay, time is not money. I can prove to all of you time's not money. Y'all ready for me to prove it? Say prove it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go in my office right now. I'm going to get my checkbook out. I'm going to write $1 million check to whoever wants. Unless you'd rather have Bitcoin, I'll just send you $1 million worth of Bitcoin. Who would like it? Anybody in here would like it? Okay, a bunch of people would like it. Okay, cool. Here's the caveat. You must end your life today. Now, who wants it? Don't see any hands. Why don't I see any hands? Because you don't know how much time you have left, but however much it is, it's worth more than $1 million. So you already intuitively know that time is more valuable than money. How many of y'all tracking right now? Watch this. Let's flip the script. Let's say you already have $1 million. Okay? And let's say you find out today you have an incurable disease. You're going to die in 10 days. But there is a remedy, a cure that has worked 100% of the time for 100% of the people. And if it doesn't work for you, the people you're buying it from are going to give your money back to your family. Okay? It's $1 million. And that's all the money you have. How many of you would pay the $1 million? Even though there's a possibility that you get hit by a bus, later today, you're going to pay the $1 million to have more time. Who's going to pay it? C, you already know time. Now, if you understand that time is more, some of y'all didn't raise your hand. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are y'all confused? Are y'all confused or am I confused? Let me ask that question again because y'all made me a little nervous there. Who are we dealing with? Okay. How many of y'all going to pay the money for the cure? Let me see the plan. Okay. So here's the question. Since you already know that's true on a macro level, why don't you act as if it's true on a micro level? Because you've heard the lie so many times in your life that time is money. What are the dangers of believing that time is money? Here are the dangers. If you believe that time is money, you will waste a whole bunch of time to save a little bit of money. Am I keeping it real? Or you'll sell a whole bunch of your time for a little bit of somebody else's money. I've said it before, I'll say it again. One of the biggest differences between rich people and poor people is rich people value time more than we value money. Poor people value money more than they value time. The reason I pay somebody to cut my grass is not because I'm snooty. The reason I pay somebody to cut my grass is because it saves me time. The reason I pay somebody to clean my house is because it saves me time. The reason I pay somebody to clean my house is because it saves me time. Pay somebody to fix my car is because it saves me time. I can fix my own car, but it saves me time. So what happened? Well, what do you do with all that time you save? I put experiences in it. Why? Because the quantity of your life is really measured by the quantity of your life is really measured by the quality of your life. I mean by that, the quality of your life is not measured by how many years of experience you have doing a thing. But the quality of your life is measured by how many experiences you put in those years. And if you keep saving time here, save time here, save time here, save time, you can pack more experiences into your years. And so if you right now take one vacation a year, and let's say you're going to live for 40 more years, you got 40 more years of vacation. You got 40 more times, right? But what if you you have enough time. Now you can take 2 vacations a year. You get to take 80 years worth of vacations in the next 40 years. Tell me that's not better, is what I'm saying. Making sense. And so time is infinitely more valuable than money. It requires discipline, though, to start while you're trading time for money. Start a little bit at a time, trading money for time. Start paying someone to do things that you could do yourself. You want to know something that'll change your life? A housekeeper to come clean your house once a week, and you take that time to go and use to develop your creativity, to use your creativity to develop something somebody else values. Pay somebody to cut your grass. If you're cutting your grass right now, just hire somebody to do that. Hire a kid in the neighborhood, cut your grass. Hire a Laws landscape company, cut your grass. I'm blown away. That'll put 4, 5, 6 dudes at your house to cut your grass at your house every week for $250 a month, $250 a month. What? I wish if you catch me with a lawnmower in my hand, please come get my family and take them to safety. You don't have to have a job, okay? Time is infinitely more valuable than money. I know you're a do-it-yourselfer, you like doing you, to like projects. I do too. Sometimes I'll work on stuff myself just because I like it. Just because I like figuring stuff out. But that should be the exception rather than the rule. Okay, cool. So time isn't money. That's a great lesson that school doesn't fail to teach us. Here's the next one. You ready? You don't have to have a job. Man, this blew my mind. I'm so glad I learned this when I was 16. You know how I learned it? My dad came home from work and said, I ain't doing this no more. You ain't doing what? No. Moore's, what exactly we ain't doing, really? What we talking about, Pops, okay? Say Chu said, I'm not working for anybody else anymore. And he started doing for himself what he used to do for other people. Now, I don't recommend you do it that way. I don't recommend you cold turkey your job. I recommend you find a way to create value for someone other than yourself. And then you start doing it on the side. And then you do it so well on the side and so long on the side that eventually, right, you make enough money that you can call in sick for the last time. So what's that look like? Call in sick for the last time. Hey, yeah, this is what's up, my ain't coming in today. I'm sick. You're sick. You've never been sick a day in. your life, you've never missed a day for sick. I know, but I'm sick today. What's wrong? Oh, I'm having a little trouble with my eyes. Your eyes? What's wrong with your eyes? I just can't see myself working for you no more. Bye. Right? I call that call in sick for the last time. Okay? Anyway. So you don't have to have a job. Like we tend to equate work with having a job. In fact, people who are entrepreneurs, I hear entrepreneurs say it. It blows my mind. Yeah, I don't work anymore. No, you don't have a job anymore. You still work. Let's don't be confused. I don't work. Yo, yeah, you work. I heard a guy say a long time ago, the definition of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur, somebody who works 16 hours a day for themselves so they don't have to work 80 hours a day for somebody else, right? So we're gonna work, but you don't have to have a job, right? Anyway, I thought of something funny, but I'm not gonna say it. Okay, so you don't have to have a job. The most anybody ever paid me at a job in my life. My whole life as a full grown adult with a family. $30,000 a year. That was the cap. No cap, right? That was the cap. That was the most I ever got paid. $30,000 a year at a job because I built a business and stayed at it and eventually got good at some of the stuff in it because I'm not good at all of it. But I'm good at some of it. I'm good at enough of it that it works out okay. Our business averages more a day now than I used to make a year. You don't have to have a job. I don't recommend that you quit your job. I think having a job can be good. I don't think everybody's an entrepreneur. Let's start with that. Everybody ain't an entrepreneur. Everybody can cut out to be an entrepreneur. Some people need to have a job, okay? I just wasn't one of those people. There's nothing wrong with having a job. Jobs are great. It's way better than a sign, right? We'll work for food. That's way better than that. You don't have to have a job. Can I mess up another one for you? You don't need money to make money. You say it takes money to make money. No, it doesn't. It does not take money to make money. Especially in 2026, that a whole lot of stuff you need. Money ain't even one of them. You don't need money to make money. There are people who in fact, you never really took money to make money. Sanders got started by knocking on the doors of restaurants and saying, hey, I'll let you use my chicken recipe if you'll give me a percentage of the increased chicken sales. They were like, get out of here, old man. He knocked on 1,001 restaurant doors before somebody said yes. He didn't have any money, didn't take money. It just took tenacity. It took character. It took discipline. It took thick-twitedness. It took sales ability, 1,001 doors. Somebody finally said yes. And now we have KFC. This was a guy who was retired. He was retired. He saw his first retirement check. He said, not me. I ain't living like this. What do I have? Oh, I got a chicken recipe. I'll see if I can get a restaurant who already sells chicken to use my recipe instead of theirs. Exactly. It sounds bananas. But he became wealthy beyond his imagination as a senior. So some of y'all who think, oh, I'm too old. It is a state of mind. Child, please don't even get me started on that. What you need to make money, okay? Because I'm still sore from my workout this morning, okay? So you don't need money to make money. Here's what you need to make money. You need creativity, and you need to care enough about other people to obsess over their problems long enough to figure out a solution, period. Obsess over somebody else's problem. The reason you can't fix your problem is because you can't fix anybody else's. The reason I'm able to fix my problems is because I fixed a whole bunch of other people's problems. So you don't need money to make money. Here's another one. You ready? Investing money is better than saving money. Save your money. Save your money. Why would you save something that becomes worth less over time? Inflation surges our wealth. If because they just keep printing money, why would you save that? That doesn't make any sense. Invest it. What's the difference? Saving is I'm holding on to it till a later for a later date. What's investing? Investing is I'm putting it into something that's going to turn it into more. It makes way more sense to invest your money than it does to save money. I'm so glad I started getting acclimated with crypto in 2017. If I would have listened to my son, Cent, in 2012 about Bitcoin, we would be trillionaires today. But I couldn't hear him because he was my son. Now, anytime my son and my daughter bring me anything, I'm listening. I'm like, say it again. Okay? So, investing is better than saving. I bought a house in 2000 in 1993. In 2003, I bought a house in 1993 for $178,000. That house right now is worth about $600,000. Guess what? I have no intention of ever selling it. Just put it on Airbnb. Makes me money every month, and it's mine. It'll be paid for in 8 more years, unless I decide to pay it off sooner, which I'm probably going to use my home equity line of credit to pay it off sooner. So investing is better than investing money is better than saving money. This one blows my mind because not only do they not teach us this one in elementary school, they didn't teach it to us in high school. They didn't teach it to us in college. They don't even teach it to us in business school. You ready? The most valuable skill for making money. Like they don't teach it in school. What's the most valuable skill for making money? The ability to sell persuasion. They don't teach it to you. It's amazing. Somebody can go to school, get an undergraduate degree for 4 years, go to medical school for 4. The ability to sell persuasion. More years. Go for a specialty for 3, 4, 5 more years, and then graduate, and now they know how to do all this amazing stuff on the human body, and they don't know how to go and get any human bodies to do amazing stuff on. Somebody go to undergraduate degree for 4 years, go to law school for 3 years, get a law degree, borrow a bunch of money, rent an office, hang a shingle, and they don't know the first thing about getting a client. It blows my mind because we think of selling as being some low-down, underhanded, dirty, yucky thing, because the only sales experiences we remember are the bad ones. What does that even mean? Well, selling, we think of selling as yucky because when we have good sales experiences, they don't feel like sales experiences. They just feel like we've decided to buy something. So good selling is seamless, but bad selling is painful. And it's like when they're trying to convince you and they're trying to force you, and they're high pressuring you, and then they start like shaming you. All of these tactics that people use because they're bad at selling, like those, that's not selling. Selling is not talking people into buying something they don't want, don't need, and can't afford. Selling is persuasion. It is the opposite of convincing. Convincing is when I attempt to get you to do something I desire you to do for my reasons. Selling is persuasion. What's persuasion? When I help you make a decision you already desire to make for your own reasons. You're not watching this because you're not watching this video right now on YouTube because I talked you into it. You're watching it because you believe there's a good chance that it might have the answer you've been looking for. Like when I go to buy something, they don't have to talk me into it. I already wanted to buy it. All you have to do is empower me to make that decision and show me how good of a decision I'm making. Which is one of the reasons why I don't look for people to sell stuff to. It's another reason why I don't ever try to talk anybody into buying something from me. Like buy it or don't buy it, I don't know. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it's not. Either way, I know you're smart enough to know the difference. Then you can sell respectfully and not convince and coerce and twist people's arms and beg and plead and congeal. Like stop it. When somebody's really good at selling, you feel like you bought it because you just wanted it. Some of y'all ain't getting it. Is there anybody in here has an iPhone? Anybody have an iPhone? Okay? Nobody was born desiring an iPhone. You think you just decided to buy one, but Apple sold to you. Anybody have an Android? Nobody was born wanting an Android. I thought something so funny. It sounds so funny, but I'm not going to say it. Okay. Nobody was born wanting an Android. They sold you on that. The foundation of mathematics, like if you have some kind of designer brand, shoes, clothes, glasses, car, whatever, all you were sold, all of that stuff. You weren't born with a desire for any of others, that stuff. So selling is a valuable skill, especially when you can learn how to sell seamlessly so that when you sell something to somebody, they feel like they bought it because it was their idea. Okay, that's the most valuable skill that's not taught in school. This is the last one. They didn't teach us money math, or they didn't teach us math as it relates to money. Does anybody know what the foundation of mathematics is? What is the foundation of mathematics? The now. I mean, the basic fundamental math skill is addition. Addition. Like everything in math, if you get good at addition, you can master the rest of math, right? I believe that in the United States of America and most Western countries, but in the United States of America, the school system intentionally teaches math backwards. Because if they teach it backwards, they can make children confused about numbers. And if I can get you confused enough, early enough about numbers, I can get you not to like numbers. And if I can get you not to like numbers, when you become an adult, it'll be very easy for me to take your money. Now you might say, oh, that sounds like a conspiracy theory. Okay, cool. It can sound like whatever it wants to sound like. But there is an ethnic group in the world who are categorically better at math. Who are they? Asians. Asians are categorically better at math. Oh, they have a special math gene. Yeah, it's called they don't learn math backwards. That's the math gene. Say, what do you mean they don't learn math backwards? Asian countries teach math with an abacus, which means when they learn addition, they don't learn addition from right to left like we do. They learn addition from left to right. I'll show you on the board. This is going to blow your mind. Well, maybe it is. It blows my mind. So, math. Somebody give me a 4-digit number. Just shout one out. 235, 2385. Somebody else shout one out. 7,214. 7,214. Somebody else shot one out. 22,212. Somebody had one more 485. 4,855. So what we learned in school is you add 5 plus 9. 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 5 is 14. What we learned in school. So I write 4 down here, and I carry the 1, right? Isn't that where people first start to get confused in math? Isn't that carry? That's a first point of confusion, okay? But what if we learn to add this way instead of that way? That would be better because we know that this is the what column, ones column, this is the tens column, this is the hundreds, this is the thousands. So this means that if that's 5, that's 5. That's 5. If that's 8, that's 80. If that's 3, that's 300. If that's 2, that's 2,000. We know that, right? Okay? So what's 2,000 plus 7,000? 9,000. 9,000. What's 9,000 plus 2,000? What's 11,000 plus 4,000? Wait, you didn't carry anything. That's 15,000. What's 15,000 plus 300? 15,300. How do y'all know this? Have y'all done this before? Oh no, you've never done it before, but you still know it. Okay? 15,300. What's 15,300? What's 15,300? Plus 200? 15,500. 15,100, 15,600 plus 7 plus 800. 16,400, 16,400 plus 80. Do okay, 16,480. I know I'm going to kind of fast for the video, but if you like, all you got to do is think about 16,480. Sexen, vir noi null. Sexen, fumfines null. 1657, 70, 16,575, 16,579. 16,584, 16,584, and I didn't carry anything. Now, why is it important to learn math this way instead of that way? Because that's how we count our money. when we count money, if I take money out of my wallet and I've got a bunch of ones and a bunch of hundreds and a bunch of tens and a bunch of 20s and a bunch of fives, I don't count the ones first. So they taught us how to do math the exact backwards way of the way we count money. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of this video when I said for this to be one of the most prosperous times in world history and for us to live some of the most prosperous nations in the world, for people, for the majority, for people to be struggling, it must be intentional. 7 Facts School. They failed to teach us in school about money. Those are the money traps. It's time for you to get untrapped, my people. I hope this video helps you. I hope it blesses your family. Please, please watch this. Learn these principles. Do something with it, and it might just change your life for the rest of your life. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now. Applause.